Hello to Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you the Russia-Ukraine war. While the war continues on the front line, the developments in the background also affect the direction of the war. The biggest war in Europe has since the second world of the war is taking place between Russia and Ukraine. As the second year of the war comes to an end, the sides continue their mutual attacks. European countries are doing everything that they can do about the ongoing war in Ukraine. The solution to the war varies depending on the politics of the parties. International developments are very important in the times of war. International law cannot bind states after a certain point. For this reason, alliances become more important than laws and agreements. We know that the international system plays an important role in the times of the war as balancing factor. At the recently convened Munich Security Conference, important speeches were made about the war in Ukraine. While the participating countries expressed their support, the theme of conference became more effective with the speech of the Ukrainian leader. The Ukrainian army, which showed great resistance after Russia's invasion attempt against Ukraine, is now in a position to hold certain forces on the ground. The Ukrainian army, which showed not only the defense but also the offensive dimension of the war, has come a long way. Kiev, which can equip more troops with the support packages coming to Ukraine, is building its own future, stating that they will make more efforts for Ukraine to be independent and free. Kiev officials showed their determination. While the war continues on the front, important developments are taking place in the international community. At the Munich Security Conference, which was attended by many countries, Ukrainian leader Zelensky's speech made a mark. Key security agreements were also signed between France, Germany, and Ukraine. Now, if you are ready, let's analyze the latest developments together. As the Pioneer, we continue to report on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments with us. Tell us in the comments what content you would like to see on the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer reports. Ukrainian President Zelensky made a speech at Munich Security Conference in Germany. Addressing important issues in his speech, Zelensky also talked about the events that took place in recent days. In his speech, Zelensky said that Vladimir Putin has two options. The words of Zelensky, who said that Putin will either be tried in a criminal court or will be killed by one of his accomplices, became an agenda. Zelensky also mentioned Russian opposition's Navalny in his speech after his suspicious death in prison. After the murder of Alexei Navalny, Zelensky said that it is absurd to perceive Putin as so-called legitimate president of the Russian state. He said that Putin is a thug who holds power through the corruption and violence. Zelensky is holding talks at Munich Security Conference along with the other world leaders, including the United States. Zelensky is one of the most prominent leaders at a conference meeting with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. After Navalny's death on the stage of the conference, many heads of states condemned the suspicious death. Zelensky, on the other hand, made important points with his speech. He said that Putin was sending a message against the convening on the Munich Security Conference. By destroying another opposition leader, Putin is trying to intimidate Europe. Zelensky, on the other hand, says that one should not be afraid to overthrow the Putin regime and stand up to it. The Ukrainian army's struggle continues in an important way on the front line. The Ukrainian army, which is experiencing some problematic days in the Avdiivka region, has stated that it will increase its strength in the region as soon as possible and protect its gains. It is also stated that the moral and motivation needed by the fighting troops is quite high. Reports from the soldiers on the front line showed that the combat resistance is high and the soldiers are living together in harmony. While there is a coordination and order in the Ukrainian army, it is not possible to see this in the Russian army. According to recent reports, there are many psychologically disturbed soldiers in the Russian troops. The behavior and actions of the soldiers with psychological difficulties affect the other side. For this reason, fights often break out within the Russian troops as soldiers become restless. One of the most important ways to increase war gains is to have high firepower and resources. Ukraine is particularly fortunate in this regard. Countries supporting Ukraine and sending aid packages are playing an important role in helping Ukraine build its future. The security agreements signed after the recent visits of the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky have made quite a splash. Zelensky reportedly signed long-term security agreements with both Germany and France. Ukrainian leader Zelensky signed the first agreement in Berlin during his presentation with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Then he traveled to Paris, where he signed a similar agreement with French President Emmanuel Macron. Zelensky, who signed agreements with two of Europe's largest states, Germany and France, seems to have come up with the new plans during the war. Making changes in the Ukrainian army in some critical points, Zelensky seems confident. The support of Kiev's European allies has come as it seeks to fill the gaps in Ukraine's military financing caused by the cessation of US aid. The United States has been the largest supplier of military and financial aid to Ukraine throughout the invasion and war launched by the Russian President Vladimir Putin in February 2022. In the process, opposition to providing more funding and weapons grew among the Republicans in the Congress. In this case, too, a disagreement emerged. But this disagreement seems to be resolved. An aid package allocating $60 billion to Ukraine recently passed the first vote and will next be discussed in Senate. There are also important details in the agreement between Germany and Ukraine. According to the agreement with Germany, Ukraine will receive more than $7.5 billion in military aid in 2024. Speaking at a joint press conference with Zelensky, the German leader described the agreement as the historic step. Stating that Germany will always support Ukraine against the Russian invasion, Scholz said that the US is a great power. For this reason, he stated that the support of the US is very important for Ukraine. Zelensky, who made a press statement with French leader Emmanuel Macron, also touched upon important issues here. Zelensky stated that the agreement is ambitious and included a military aid of $3.2 billion. French leader Macron said that they are determined to defeat Russia's war of aggression. So how do you interpret Zelensky's remarks about Putin? Do you think the Munich Security Conference has led to an important decision for the security of the states? What do you think about the motivation of the Ukrainian army and the Russian army? What do you think about the agreements signed by the Ukraine and the Germany and France and the statements of leaders? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.